Not the video you're expecting, right? I know y'all think something horrible has happened, and I promise you it has, but it hasn't. How do I even put you somewhere? My kids are going to show up and be like, Mom, you're so weird. So I admit, I'm in the dark. I'm trying to do a quick video. They're probably going to come in and bother me. It is 7:30, 7:04 Eastern time. And the question of the day is, where are you? And I'm going to answer. Okay, so I tried to put up a whole video. For those that don't know, this is just so Trish. Motherhood from the trenches. All right, so I've been getting videos of like, where are you? I tried to like do like a quick update, and I don't know, I switched phone service plans and I can't get it loaded. It's just a hot mess. How did those two get here before that one got here? Sorry. Hey, Tanya. Okay. I'm going to be absolutely distracted because my kids are coming home from church. I'm popping in here to say hi because I feel so bad that I just kind of left you hanging and then I just got so busy. So let's rewind to August 5th. We'll rewind to August 5th and I'll answer any question you have. I know, but I feel like I've sold out without meaning to sell out. They're coming for me. I know they're coming for me. Nope. She's going in. Go in. Okay. You need to get off my thing and go away. Go away. So my son is bothering me and I don't want to go out there. Son, I'm serious. Leave me be. Because I'll start telling all your secrets on YouTube. Because you know you don't want me talking about you. I think you went away. It'd be smart to go away. All right, so let's rewind back to August. So August, I was very pumped. And the idea was, I actually had myself at the point where I was going to bring home all of my kids. And that was our deal. That was the plan, at least. And actually, I got him. That was the plan. And actually with my son was my first stop where he had the ability, he was going to homeschool. We're going to do FLVS, which is our Florida virtual school, and work that way. And I just felt like to get him the ability to apply himself and everything else would be best if he stayed home. It sounded like a great plan. I'm just not gonna lie. It sounded like a phenomenal plan. And he was willing. He was like, I will come and do that with you. And as we got closer, I realized that I was talking to you, Trish. We understand mom life gets crazy. Thank you. As we got closer, I kind of realized socially and emotionally it might be better for him to go back. And I just kind of went to him. I said, you know what? You're 15. The ball's in your court. You decide. Well, he decided to go back. It has been not perfect in the situation. It hasn't been perfect. So sorry. There's just nowhere for me to put my phone that is easy. I'm in the car hiding from my children. It wasn't perfect, but we made do. And then my oldest daughter was kind of on her own taking college classes. High school seemed to be working out because she only needed to take one class and she liked that idea. So she was fine. My 2 middle schoolers, I was homeschooling, and my 2 youngest. That was the plan. So about the last week of July, I'm just really having a prayer moment because I probably totally failed as a homeschool mom last year when I brought them back. And that will have to be a whole nother video because once I get into sharing that, that would be a conversation on its own. So I spoke to them. I said, do you want to go to school? Do you want to go back to school? And somewhere between there, I had about the same time of, I don't want to run my youngest two back and forth to speech therapy because speech therapy is still a need. So somehow in the course of a week, and I bought all my curriculum, very excited about my curriculum, I realized for me, it would be okay to send my kids to school. Okay. I'm not going to lie, some serious burnout. Even some serious stress that had occurred in my marriage from homeschooling. And that's going to have to be a whole nother conversation. So there's this aspect where life was hard because my marriage was hard. Life was hard because I'm exhausted homeschooling. Life was hard. And I decided, and I wasn't even sure how to share this with y'all, that I would let my kids go to school. And in the meantime, not necessarily find me. I don't want to say find me, but kind of take care of me. That was the goal. That didn't work out either. And that did not happen either. Let me just tell you, that did not happen. So what happened was I enrolled everybody back in. I got things set up the way they should be. In fact, I never unenrolled my youngest ones. I just had left them in. I was going to pull them out at the last minute. So I re-enrolled my two middle kids on Monday. And at the same time, I applied to be a volunteer. On Tuesday, I got a call from the middle school that says, hey, I just seen your kids are back in school. I just seen you're willing to volunteer. Could you come back in and substitute for us because we're missing teachers? And I'm like, not the plan. And they're like, it's just hard any way you do it. You're only one person, right? Well, that week, I had the assistant principal and the principal calling me continuously to come back because they were in such a need. And somehow, 7 days later, I had my classroom set up to teach 6th grade. So I have been back in the middle school this year teaching. And the stories I could tell you. Definitely not the same situation as last year where it burned me to a point that I was absolutely miserable. I can tell you honestly, with these kids, I love them dearly like they were my own children. I tease them. I'm like, listen, the only way I know to teach is a homeschool mom style. So that means you can call me your math mom because I'm pretty much going to mama you like there's nobody's business. On top of that, I mean, we could say one victory unprepared for. It is the end of February and I'm still using the same curriculum. Like, that's kind of amazing, right? I'm still using the same curriculum. On top of that, I'm using Common Core curriculum. And on top of that, I'm literally using Engage New York, which they now call it Eureka curriculum that they wrote Common Core on. I ended up making a sport. I've stopped since Christmas because there's just no time. How many things I can find wrong? That has been their free curriculum online. I literally play the game of watch and see how many things I can find that's wrong. And this is why our test scores are going to drop. And this is why this is wrong. And this is how you cannot teach this. And it's been funny because our classical conversations type of work and me being a homeschool mom, I drive everybody nuts because they're like, you teach math. Why are you talking about Latin and Spanish and history and science? And are you seriously doing sentence diagramming in the middle of your, oh, he's staring at me. He's such a goofball. In the middle of math class. And I said, yes, I do. One of my favorite things I like about teaching math is I'm only teaching one subject repetitively throughout the day. So I legit say the same things all day, every day. Favorite things I like to tell them is, especially when I bring up, like, I love to tell them stories. And I tell them stories about everything. I tell them stories about the Vietnam vet that I met at 5 in the morning because my daughter had to go get the clearance items at Valentine's Day. And I always, like a little TED talk where it's like, hey, I met this amazing guy. Like, that could be a whole another story. And I discussed with them about, about how when he came home, nobody spoke to him because he was drafted, and how he was drafted into the military. And when he came back, there was so much chaos and craziness going over different views with Vietnam that he wasn't even welcomed, and it wasn't even his choice. And the kids are like, that's just wrong. And I'm like, but how many times have we seen that right now with COVID? Can you draw parallels like that? Sorry, I gotta go. Just found out family friend passed away. We'll catch the replay. I'm so sorry, Tanya. So that was like a cool thing. And then just like, you guys, when you have the opportunity for living history, go talk to them. Go talk to the veterans that wear. If you have your parents with you, go talk to them. So I teach them like a lot of weird stuff like that. But I teach them like, and then they're like, well, this is math class, not whatever you're teaching. And I'm always like, this is life class. I use math to train your brain so you can handle hard things. I like to tell them that. But my favorite things to tell them is math is perfect, and math is the evidence of truth and perfection. So I have a good joy in that one. But if you're concerned or you're worried, May 27th is the last day of the contract. And even though my principal has decided that he is convinced that I get committed 3 years, I kind of laughed. That was yesterday's conversation. I just kind of laughed. I said, no, I committed to November because last time I lasted till November. And I'm going to make it to the end of the year, May 27th. I mean, I'm legit counting down the days. I'm legit buying homeschool curriculum. I don't know why. I am. Not that I don't have enough. There's just some stuff I can't find. And I'm not coming back. And he was like, yeah, no, you are. I said, no. Just because you only remembered what you wanted to hear. That's not what I said. So let's get into the reality. I have 6 children. I live 25 minutes from work. I have kids that are in 3 different schools. And I promise to tell you, my life at home is falling apart. I love my job. But I thought I could save a district, our school district, my school county, by going into work. And I've come to realize they're never going to pay the teachers what they need to pay. So that's the reason they need me. Because the teachers that are worth anything or aren't tenured are always looking to go to another school district that pays more. They're not paying them the right amount. Discipline's so much better this year than it was last year, so that's great. I know I look really tired and old. I did not give you my pretty face. Plus side is my 2 middle kids that felt as though they fell through the cracks have really found a spot in middle school this year. I think it helps that I'm there. I mean, they've done cross country, they've done cheerleading. I've had one do cheerleading, and are now both doing volleyball, which I swear volleyball is about to be the death of me. I'm not used to that at all. My oldest one has gotten sicker. So that means trying to juggle the things we used to do and neurology appointments and endocrinology appointments and cardiology appointments. And I think we might have stumbled onto what may or may not be it. But we're still dealing with that, which actually in the end has caused her to have to take a break from college because she's not allowed to come back, and withdraw her from the high school because it was too much. So we've dealt with that. We've dealt with threats of, if you don't get your act together, you're going to be pulled out and homeschooled again. And my younger kids are ready to come home. And my entire house says, Mom, I feel like we're falling apart because you're not here. See, now I'm going to get one coming. Hold on a second, because I shouldn't take too long. I'm doing a video. Okay, thank you. I've met some of the most amazing kids that I cannot even begin to tell you about, that I look forward to seeing as they grow up around town, because we live in a small town, so that's really awesome. I'm trying to plant a garden. I was doing so good at taking care of myself and starting that aspect. That was the whole plan. I was going to take care of myself. And I feel like I'm walking a tightrope as I get older. I turn 44 next week. And I'm not where I thought I would be. I know I feel so bad. And there's some cool stuff I really want to share with y'all. I just try to plant a garden, and I swear I hope to remember to water it, and I look at it on the weekends. There's just no time. My heart breaks for the number of moms that are working. I don't know how you do it. And you've got to feel like you're missing so much. I've come to realize I do need to work. And again, this would be a whole nother video. And you can ask me any questions about the public school or about what I'm finding, because I have all kinds of opinions. I just don't want to run off in 10 different directions. Because I'm going to be on here for maybe 3 more minutes. But I lost my own train of thought. I just feel like the days rush by and I don't even see it. And one of the things I've dealt with, and I really have to hone in on, is sometimes you become what you're around, if that's a good way to put it. And when I say that, I'm really talking about, I wasn't around very many people, and I don't know, we've discussed in the past, like, my life with homeschoolers. I am doing 3 or 4 jobs, and it's so hard. But I kind of found, like, the area I'm in and the people who are available to be around was only because they homeschooled, and even then wasn't a good fit. And the isolation and the loneliness became a serious issue for me. One of the things I definitely love about working is the fact that I'm being social again, and I really need to be social again. So after spending the year and realizing how hard I'm working and how much I'm missing my kids, I realized I could work less than half the time and make twice as much if I just did my degree work, which is engineering. And it kind of made me really think, like, why do I minimize myself when there's so much more? And I think as moms, we kind of do that. This might have been a conversation piece before. But so that's kind of the nitty gritty. I'm literally in half. I look nice on top. I don't have my glasses. You're super close to my face. You don't get to see how great I am in. Bad shape. I'm going gray-ish. And I'm just trying to do my best to survive. I am buying curriculum. Isolation and loneliness is really an issue during the unusual times too. It is. And I think that's one of the hard parts about my favorite part about teaching. And I think this would be my favorite part about any job. But my favorite part about teaching is I have a reason to get dressed and go in the morning. And I know that sounds like a cop-out, but for me, being at home, getting up and dressed, I didn't feel like there was an external reason why, and I didn't have the internal desire to click it on. You know, that internal versus external accountability. And so I really like the fact that I get dressed, I put on earrings, I, do makeup sometimes, and I feel put together, and I know my purpose, and I know what I have to do, and I do it. And there's something so calming to that, where sometimes in the house, there's so much to do, especially somebody who's cluttered like me, that I tend to felt pulled in so many directions that it didn't help. The other side of it is this year I work with some of the most amazing women. And having that camaraderie has been so good to me. Like, we have work to do. We have stuff we have to deal with. We fight. And that's another thing. It's like, we have fought and got over it and realized it wasn't a big deal. Where I've dealt with kind of like being in homeschool groups, they disagreed and didn't know how to talk to you about it, so you were legit cut out of the situation and never to be spoken to again. But that was about a year ago. And along with whoever was friends with who, and it was like, wait a minute, what? Where having to work with people, it's, I don't like you right now. I told you what I thought, since I had to deal with what you think about me, and now I'm going to have to just deal with you, but in a couple of weeks, it's just going to wear down. I'm going to be over it. Where I felt like in the homeschool community that I was in, it would, you were done. You were canceled. I mean, I would say if the cancel culture was anywhere, homeschool communities definitely brought it in. And I hate to say that. So I'm looking forward to, I'm like literally counting down the days. And I'll do a whole new video of like, okay, so what did school bring for remember when I put Orville in and he couldn't speak and I made him I made him do kindergarten and I put him a year behind? Best thing I could have done. But also, it's a temporary fix. He is above everybody in his class and everybody above the year that he would have been in. And I don't think that would have happened if I would have put him at his age. I worry about my youngest. She's very socially needy. And me understanding, I don't know if I would work out in a homeschool co-op, like it or not. So what are the options that I could do that's worth driving to? But let me give you this little bit of golden egg before I go. I ended up with neighbors. When I say neighbors, it means they're driving distance and if they wanted to, or they can come through the back. I ended up with neighbors that are homeschoolers, that have homeschooled their kids their entire life. They have an 18-year-old, and so a senior, a 9th grader, an 8th grader, and a 4th grader. And it feels good to have somebody who gets it and to add her to my best friend list. And what's funny is how I always felt kind of left out. All of a sudden has built me this like little friends of 5 of us that were homeschoolers, are homeschooling or whatever. And it feels good to have like that little clan that just came together on its own organically. And with that said, my 3 oldest were each a year older than all the other kids in public school. It was the best for them all through school, right? My 17-year-old ended up with a boyfriend, finally. She's very picky. Wouldn't you know it'd be a homeschool kid? And yes, it's a homeschool kid. And the 2 of them just, they date by their dates are at the dang used library. So it's just absolutely adorable and amazing too. All right, I went long past what I said. I'm going to let you go because I'm exhausted. I'm ready to go to bed and grade papers because that's what I do. Khan Academy is still my favorite thing ever, and I use it at the public school. And I teach the old math way. Vocabulary is the best thing you can learn. Okay, I'm going to talk to you later. I love y'all. Hope things are well. Message me any questions you have because it's so much easier to video and answer a question than it is to just be like, what do I need to keep it narrowed down to? And then there's also the one where I was going to talk about money, but that's got to be another day. I will talk to you soon. Love y'all. I'll give you the peace out. But I totally love you and miss you.